Emerald Fennell is a lot more like Ryan Murphy, where it's just, here comes a lurid log line, and then we'll see if I can live up to it. And we're back with an all-new episode of Keep It. I'm Louis Virtel, and I love the smell of medium-octane pop culture takes in the morning. R.I.P. Robert Duvall. That's my tribute to Apocalypse Now. Also, this is another episode of the other podcast we do, Guess Who Died? Because 3 people have died this week. It's extraordinary. We'll get into those. But we have a returnee to Keep It this week.
Hello.
One of the best, Nina Parker. Welcome back to Keep It.
Thank you.
I'm so psyched you're here.
Me too.
And I'm so not psyched that people are dead.
I mean, it's, I always say, people are dying who never died before.
They're trying it for the first time.
How dare you? Some people ain't got no business being dead.
Right.
Like Whitney Houston, like you ain't got no business being dead.
Whitney Houston's one of the few people where I remember where I was and who I had to call.
Yes.
Like my friend Andrew, who saw her in concert, I've seen her in concert. I called him and like a newscaster, it was like, I have to tell you that Whitney Houston died.
Yeah.
Why was I possessing that moment?
I have a weird thing because I was reporting on a lot of these people. So
Right.
I'd be the first person to find out. So all my family would always text me and be like, is it true? Mm-hmm. So not only did I have to deal with like working, if you have a black family that is somebody iconic has died and they black, you on the phone all day.
Yeah.
Because they want to know what you know.
Right.
So, they like, where was Whitney? Where was she at? They wanted to go to the hotel, child. So, yeah, it's a thing.
Well, this week, we just, within seconds, lost Jesse Jackson.
Yep.
We lost Robert Duvall, the
Yes.
legendary actor, 95 years of age.
Yeah.
We'll get into him in a second.
95.
And James Vanderbeek died this week, too.
They hit can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think the Grim Reaper is MAGA?
Wow. You think it's like...
Because how you going to take Jesse during Black History Month?
Right, in the heart of Black History.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you? He's got to be a Republican.
What?
He's got to be.
It feels pointed, come to think of it.
You're taking everybody but...
Robert Duvall, I'll say this, 95 years of age. I mean, that's an extraordinary long time to live. This is somebody
Yes.
this is a guy who was in the movie The Godfather and was in his 40s then. So think about that.
Because there are some actors who have always just been older.
Right. Yes, yes.
Like Morgan Freeman. Have you ever seen him young?
No. Like when he plays a pimp in Street Smart, he was still like granddad.
Yeah. I mean, what an extensive career.
Right.
There are some, and there are also some actors where whatever they're in, you just know it's going to be good. Robert Duvall was definitely that.
And also, I believe he holds the record for starring in the most movies on the AFI Top 100 Best Movies list. He was pure prestige.
This is why I like talking to you. Because who just says that? Who just rattles off
I
these
just know
facts?
that. But yeah, The Godfather 1 and 2. He's in Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
He won won an Oscar for a movie called Tender Mercies. He plays a alcoholic country singer starting a new life. Cute little movie. He also was in one of the best movies about toxic masculinity I've ever seen, which is The Great Santini. He plays this guy, this military asshole who has a family, calls himself The Great Santini, and you see him leading this family. All he understands is competition, and he traumatizes his son. Basically, he plays a game of basketball with him where he dribbles the ball against his head. Very memorable performance. But I have to say, I believe Robert Duvall holds the record for most performances that make you say, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, this is a scary man who brings a lot of power on camera.
He's had generational films, too, so it's just like you can't really go wrong with wherever you decide to land, because we really should have a game where you just spin a wheel and just watch one of his movies, and it's going to hit every time.
No, right. Recently lost Diane Keaton, Robert Redford. It's like we're losing the people that remind us why we make movies.
Right, because now you just have somebody from TikTok in a film, right? So it's like, I feel like with music and with acting, we are losing recipes.
Yes.
Because it used to be distinctive and like what would make you different. And now it's kind of like they want the same. Everybody to be the same, want the same thing. They're only worried about who's going to watch. They're not really worried about the quality of it. So
we're getting algorithmized, if you will.
Yes, we are. Which, we on our phone, so maybe we won't notice.
Yeah, that's true. No, we're complicit, et cetera.
Yes, and Jesse Jackson, we got to talk about.
Now, I mean, first of all, a pop culture figure like none other. The way one of those people, kind of like Dr. Joyce Brothers, who kind of belonged everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, incredible civil rights. I mean, I remember being a kid and like seeing Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, and like that for me was the peak of, in my and growing up in like the 80s, like that was a huge time. He ran for president.
Right.
So, it was a really big moment for me in watching like civil rights evolve from like what what it was in the 60s to being in the 80s and kind of looking to see like Black people run for office. As a kid, that was really inspiring. So, it's a really sad loss, especially in the climate we're in. I mean, we're losing leaders when we need more.
And also, I mean, he was one of the few people of like that political ilk in the 80s where it's like you could expect him to be parodied on SNL.
Yeah.
It's like he was so around and so somebody you had to talk about.
Yeah.
And like what other like Black prominent politician?
Yeah, I mean,
like he was like utterly groundbreaking in just I'm around and
polarizing
unavoidable.
Too. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, arm in arm with Martin Luther King. So it was just like, again, generational, just someone who has stepped into all these different iconic areas, but also still very relatable. So
now,
a big loss.
James Van Der Beek, best known for Dawson's Creek, died last week. Oh, I can't believe we have to cover that this week too.
I know.
Were you a Dawson's Creek super fan?
I would say probably the first 3 seasons I was like a big super fan. And I think it was just at an age where I was, I think I was probably in my teens. So I just kind of, you phase out because you're into other things. But I for sure was I was Team Pacey.
Me too.
I'm still Team Pacey.
There's a resting gravitas about Pacey.
Listen, let me
and
tell
also
you
he was. No, I was going to say he's the best actor on the show, but we had Michelle Williams too. He was a really good actor.
Yeah. He was a good actor, and he just, he was interesting. And I wasn't always like rooting for Dawson because I wanted him and Joey to be together, and I was like, why can't Dawson get it together? So I think I was more Team Pacey at the end. But big fan of the show for a while.
I also really liked James Van Der Beek on Don't Trust the Bee and Apartment 23, which is this TV show that like doesn't get referenced anymore. It's like sort of in this dead zone of the 2010s where like people don't remember like any of the TV shows around that time. I was just realizing that recently, and I say this with affection to Wendy McClendon-Covey, that the Goldbergs ran for 10 seasons. How?
Yeah, that's interesting. See, this is why, again, I like talking to you because who would have known?
No.
But let me tell you something. I probably would never have thought about the Goldbergs ever
That's
again.
how I mean, like, I was talking with a friend recently about long-running TV shows that don't have a single iconic episode. Like the show Wings ran for 8 seasons.
Not Wings.
What? We're still getting on a plane? What are we doing?
Gosh, Wings. I forgot about that show. Wow, you're really. Can you hit me with one more?
Well, one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I would say it doesn't really have an iconic episode, but did you ever watch the old Norman Lear show, One Day at a Time, with Bonnie Franklin and Valerie Bertinelli?
Yes, I did. I used to love One Day at a Time.
9-10 seasons. Yes.
Yeah,
right.
well, that I can understand. That show was iconic back then.
No, but I mean, it was a show about we're 3 girls in a family, and the superintendent is a little horny.
And walking around with the cigarettes on his arm.
Yeah,
Like, this was a weird show. But I think I remember as a kid watching it along with Mama's Family.
Of course, yes.
Mama's Family, please.
Vicki Lawrence, come on, keep it.
I will, please. I would love that. That was like, I don't know if I could pick out one iconic episode, but I mean,
No, I believe Vicki Lawrence still performs that character on tour. So, I mean,
we should go. We should find out where and just go.
No, I know the answer is Arizona. Don't you worry about that.
It could do big in Vegas too.
Please in the comments tell us what your favorite Robert Duvall role is. Because by the way, I want to say also, I interviewed this man in 2015 for a movie he did called The Judge, which was his last Oscar nomination. No one knows why, but I was in the same room as him and Robert Downey Jr. and not intimidated by Robert Downey Jr. at all, even though he was worth what 9 figures or something.
Sure.
Robert Duvall sitting there, you're like, this man can't be looking at me. I'll disappear.
Right.
Like he's going to vaporize me. Pretty good. I mean, he was like an older actor, but we talked about some of his fabulous. No, right.
When they get over a certain age, they don't want to be there.
A junket.
They're doing a junket. I don't want to do a junket now.
No.
Try to have me do a junket in 20 years, baby, please.
No. And by the way, what happens is if you're a reporter, you might get like 4 minutes, or if you're at a bigger outlet, maybe 10 minutes to talk to a celebrity, and they're sitting there all day. It's
the worst for everybody involved. Can we just be honest? Junkets, they're necessary. Nobody wants to do them.
No.
Nobody. You're in the lobby with all the other reporters, and everybody's like, kill me.
I remember one time Kate Beckinsale was late for an interview I was doing, and she, I was like, I don't know what's going on with Kate Beckinsale. Maybe she's going through it. And she sits down and she's refreshed and she asks the person running the junket, she goes, how many more do I have? And he goes, 27.
Oh!
I was like, oh, right. If I'm Kate Beckinsale in this moment, I'm going to off myself.
And you can, I feel like I don't get the best interviews at junkets. Like I hate
Me
them
neither.
because I feel like you don't get a good interview. But I also understand why they're exhausted. They're annoyed because they get asked the same questions after, 2 interviews, you're over it.
And also, the people interviewing them are routinely not you or
Yeah.
not I,
Right.
where they want to come up with something novel or be
Sure.
they don't want the answer that everybody else is giving them, because it might be somebody from Minnesota, where this
Sure.
is their only pop culture correspondent, so they're only asking the one question that everybody's asking to give their readers.
Sure.
Anyway,
we get it. We get the machine.
Yeah.
But I understand why people are like, I don't know.
I didn't realize I had to go into this today, but I'm so glad we did.
Yes.
Anyway, R.I.P. Robert Duvall,
This is
Jesse
why I like
Jackson,
talking with you.
James Vanderbeek.
This is supposed to be a memorial, but we talking about junkets. This is why I like it.
Okay.
I love a segue.
And here comes another one. This episode, we don't have a guest this episode. We're just going to hang out and talk pop culture.
Okay.
We're also going to talk about this movie, Wuthering Heights, which the most notable thing about it is that no one will shut up about it.
Listen, I have seen the discourse online, and I'm curious to know your thoughts, because I have thoughts, and I think I'm boycotting it.
Okay. I have seen it, and I'm also on the fence about boycotting it. We might.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. you still want to?
I still think
You
there's time.
want to post boycott?
Yeah. I can find a way in. Also, we will discuss. There's a new documentary on Netflix about America's Next Top Model,
Child,
and I
listen.
have to say, when I started this, I figured it was a Tyra produced
Oh, you
production,
did?
because it starts off with a lot of Tyra,
Right, it does.
and then a turn happens, and you realize, oh, Tyra is not in control
I'm
of
shocked
this.
she agreed to do this without any creative control. I'm actually shocked.
Yeah, right. Likewise, we'll get into the history of America's Next Top Model, and also just get into reality shows of the 2000s. And again, are Nina and I complicit? Because a lot goes down on these shows.
I was a minor. How's this my fault? My frontal lobe wasn't even developed, Tyra. You blaming me for watching?
We'll find a way.
Girl, I was doing homework.
And then, of course, we'll also have Keep It. All that and more on this episode of Keep It. Keep It is brought to you by ZBiotics. This year, I'm focusing on a small shift that makes a huge difference: effortless presence. It sounds counterintuitive, but for me, that means planning ahead so I can truly live in the moment, especially when I'll be with friends who are enjoying a few drinks. My simple trick for staying balanced is giving them ZBiotics pre-alcohol before we start the night. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's a buildup of this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for rough days after drinking. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. You think I'm not handing this out like Halloween style, trick-or-treat style? I actually am. I am not somebody who likes to host a pregame. My home is for me. But this weekend I did, and I said, if you guys are going to drink around me, you better have this. I'm telling you, my friends came away effervesced. Ready to try it? Go to zbiotics.com/keepit now. You'll get 15% off your first order when you use Keep It at checkout. Plus, it's backed by a 100% money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Subscriptions are also available for maximum consistency. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/keepit and use the code KEEPIT at checkout for 15% off. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sometimes it can feel like everyone else has it all together in their love lives, whether married, dating, or single. The truth is, most of us are still figuring it out and finding our way. And no matter where you are in your romantic journey, therapy can help you find your way, help you determine what you want, what feels heavy, and how you can take some pressure off yourself. I think the most valuable part of therapy is figuring out what I think of my own relationships, romantic or otherwise. In fact, it's really entertaining. It's sort of like gossiping, but healthy. Imagine. Whether it's for individuals or couples, therapy is an opportunity to identify what's getting in the way and help remove any blockers. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the U.S. BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. A short questionnaire helps identify your needs and preferences, and their 12-plus years of experience and industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they typically get it right the first time. If you aren't happy with your match, switch to a different therapist at any time from their tailored recs. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/keepit. That's betterhelp.com/keepit. This Valentine's Day weekend brought us the steamy premiere of Emerald Fennell's adaptation of Wuthering Heights, starring Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie, with music by Charlie XCX. Nina, are you intrigued by this project?
You know, I listen. I like Jacob. You know, I like a little Jacob. Should he have been in this role? You know, considering the whole background of his character is supposed to be a person of color.
Yeah.
It was. I know this is like supposed to be kind of an adaptation. You can tell me, like, I know this is supposed to be kind of like a funky adaptation to, you know, like kind of how they did Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes.
That is actually a pretty good corollary, I would say.
Yeah, that's kind of world I thought it was going to be in. So I kind of understood that, but I don't know if I can get past that, you know?
Well, you know what's interesting is that, first of all, it's Wuthering Heights in quotes. Which is meant to be a sort of cheeky in-joke for the viewer. Like, yeah, it's an adaptation of Wuthering Heights, but, you know, we're going to do our own thing or whatever. I think this is sort of where the problems begin with this movie, because to me, putting it in quotes speaks to a lack of confidence about the movie.
Yeah.
It's saying, we're not giving you the full Wuthering Heights. We're kind of doing our own thing, and we don't really know what we came up with.
Sure.
And I think that's what you get. In this movie, it's like, you're supposed to get a big, torrid romance, and because it's Emerald Fennell, who's given us Promising Young Woman and Saltburn, there are these sort of spiky, crazy, sort of porny, unseemly things she adds to it. But never at any point in this movie does the romance live up to the grandeur of the original Wuthering Heights. And we're talking about Margot Robbie playing Kathy and Jacob Elordi playing Heathcliff. Now, what's interesting is a lot of people are talking about just Jacob Elordi belonging in this movie because, as you said, in the Emily Bronte Wuthering Heights, he's described very ambiguously and, you know, quote unquote, swarthy terms. You know, it's like he could be anything from South Asian to Spanish.
Sure.
And what's funny is watching Jacob Elordi in this movie, I thought, excuse me, the reason Emerald Fennell is making this movie is because she was working with him on Saltburn and said, this man looks like Laurence Olivier, who was in the original, the 1939 Wuthering Heights. And that's exactly what he delivers.
Yeah, and it's like, girl, you just say you think people are going to go because Jacob is attractive. Like, you know, but I do feel like it's, you know, there are certain things where you can improvise and change the character. That to me was such a defining part of this character. To take it away and just put Jacob in just seems kind of egregious. Yeah. But she's fine to do with whatever she wants to do. People don't have to go see it, right? But I will say what's moved me more not to go is everyone online that I see that has gone, the first thing I see online is they say, what was that? Yeah. What did I just watch? What did I just walk out of? I hate movies that make you feel like you did drugs. You know, you walk out feeling weird. You know, you're like, what is going on? I'll be honest, I haven't seen one good like commentary review that's made me want to go see this. Like, I'll just wait for streaming at this point.
But also, a lot of people are saying, you know, I didn't love the movie, but I appreciate that it took big swings. I can't even really say it took big swings. At the end of the movie, or they sort of add an element of BDSM. Well, you know, when these characters are sort of torturing each other, like, I'm going to marry this person to get back at them. They add moments to it that are, you know, very heightened and very, shall we say, fulsome. But I that's sort of just window dressing. To me, the thing that doesn't really work about this movie is that Margot Robbie playing Kathy, this is a character defined by teenage tendencies. She's very petulant, very bratty. And in this movie, watching Margot Robbie on screen, I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, but you're clearly out of grad school. This doesn't work. Why are you acting this way?
Right. It just didn't hit.
Yeah.
You know what it is? She just was like, I'm going to take like two of the most attractive people and people are going to watch. And they did.
I'm sure she got the funding because she got Margot Robbie involved. I get it.
Exactly. And we know that they've already met their budget. So, you know, as far as money wise, it did well. But creatively, people aren't giving it great reviews.
No.
It is not something that would make me want to go to the theater. I would say that.
What's your favorite Jacob Elordi thing? Because I have to say, I do think he is very good in this movie. Yeah. And giving you sort of classic movie star where it's like, just generally handsome, tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if I would say I'm a fan, but I'm attracted to him for sure. I've got eyes.
When he was in that movie Priscilla playing Elvis, that performance was amazing. I can't believe people don't talk about it more.
Yeah.
It was also a take on Elvis I believed.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, he was like a determined superstar, but also like very susceptible to like, he becomes kind of culty in the movie. You know, Priscilla realizes she's sort of trapped in the world of this man. But he's extremely talented. I by the way, I thought he was great in Saltburn too. And I think one thing people aren't saying is that Emerald Fennell gets great performances out of her actors. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of talk that she's like unsuccessfully stylish. You know, she's somebody who adds a lot of like bombast to movies but can't find the emotional core. It's like, no, the performances are really good.
She just reminds me of the director version of Betsy Johnson.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. If Betsy Johnson made movies, it would be her.
Betsy Johnson always wearing a New Year's Eve wig.
Let me put a cheetah print bow in my hair and listen to rock music. It's like, all right, girl.
Yes.
We got the formula.
And speaking of that, you get Charlie XCX music in this movie.
I'm just saying, she's a little predictable with like her unpredictableness, you know? And it's just, to me, it's a little like sticky.
Yeah.
You know?
I will say, though, the Charlie XCX soundtrack on its own, I was pretty impressed by. There are songs in it that are like still full pop songs and yet have the atmosphere of Wuthering Heights, which is, by the way, the entire reason you would go to see this movie. You want like the fog along the moors and like the castles and things like that. And I feel like she captures that in the music. In the movie, I actually feel like the score shies away from the Charlie XCX music. Like, first of all, there's other scoring. And then secondly, like, the music kind of pipes in and out, but you never really feel like you're like in the thrall of Charlie XCX.
Do you feel like they just used it as like a thing to maybe attract a younger audience?
Oh,
like,
certainly.
Hey, we're using her, but then when you watch, it's like, oh, they're using her, but it's kind of on mute.
Yeah, right. Because I think like it changes the tone of the movie if you use too much of that.
Right.
It's meant to be just a romance, a classic romance. But this is the first movie I've seen in a long time where I thought Margot Robbie not only wasn't making great decisions, as in like, again, performing petulance, performing like a certain brattiness, but at the same time, like also didn't belong in the movie. Like it needed to be somebody much younger.
Their press run was confusing to me because they were acting like almost like a couple, like really affectionate. And I know they're playing it up for the movie, but it was odd. I was just like, we don't need to do this to sell the movie. Like,
I call this the Liam Neeson, Pamela Anderson tactic, the naked gun shit.
Yes, it's just I don't know. I feel like people are smarter than that, you know. And I'm like, we see like these people creating these roles for themselves, like her doing interviews saying that she was so attached to him during filming. And I'm like, girl, this is weird.
Yeah.
I think it's weird. It doesn't make me want to watch the movie. It just it feels very inauthentic to me, where I'm like, I just rather you go and say, hey, we had a fun time doing this movie. It's a little crazy. It's a different adaptation, but we want you guys to rock with us. I just rather that.
I think they were also overcompensating for the fact that the romance doesn't really click in this on the silver screen.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but in a way, like, I feel like even though Emerald Fennell says this is her favorite book, her vibe is way more Dangerous Liaisons to me. Where it's like she wants seediness between the characters, and she wants like bad people on screen.
She should have done Dangerous Liaisons. That is really spot on.
You know?
Yeah. And she would have stopped, not pissed off all these people. And also, I don't love how she is disregarding what people are saying about Heathcliff's character.
Yeah, right.
I kind of feel like she's like, oh, well, like, I'm just going to do what I want. And I feel like that's very, like, dangerous to do with a group of people. Yeah,
right. And also, it's interesting, actually, the diversity in this movie. Hong Chow plays maid to Margot Robbie in the movie. And I would say she gives, among the main performances in the movie, the best performance. It's an entire performance of reaction shots being like, did you just say that to me? Which is kind of Hong Chow's thing.
Yeah.
And also Hong Chow's thing is elevating my least favorite movies. Hong Chow in Downsizing, the worst movie. Hong Chow in The Whale, the worst movie.
Okay.
And now Hong Chow in Wuthering Heights coming in. And
You're right.
She's like a caseworker who comes into your bad movie and is like, I'll help.
I'll fix it.
Yeah.
Let me caulk these sides and get them all together and glue it together.
And also in this movie, there's young Heathcliff and young Kathy.
Now, I've heard good things about them.
Young Heathcliff is Owen Cooper from Adolescence, this kid who keeps winning every award in sight.
I've heard... that actually is the one good thing I've heard about. Everybody said he was phenomenal.
Something is, not only is he so talented, he's talented to the point where something is wrong with this child.
Because like how?
The resting angst on him, where did we learn that?
Yeah.
Why are you a Gen X little kid? Why?
It's a whole grown-ass man in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but he's, Heathcliff in this movie is this like orphan who's taken in by Kathy's family, and he's illiterate and she teaches him to read and stuff. But like, anyway, there's a lot of resting angst there. And it is so real on screen and so not like the character he played in Adolescence, which, by the way, was the first role he ever played.
Right.
When people are that naturally talented, I'm like, we're haunted.
Yes.
We're run by ghosts.
You're like, who is a 75-year-old man in this 8-year-old body?
Yes. with these sad cheekbones and sad eyes. Very perplexing. One thing that is successful about this movie is that Alison Oliver plays this character Isabella, whom Heathcliff eventually marries, and she is basically a stan of Kathy's. This is a very Emerald Fennell choice. Like she's like, come in, girl. Let me buy you dresses. Let me be obsessed with you. And it feels a bit fan culture in a way that feels super contemporary. But the way this actress plays it, got guffaws out of my theater, like brought the theater to life.
Really?
So if you do see it, this is
Okay.
actually a reason to see it because it's
Okay.
a broadly comic performance. Kind of like Rosamund Pike in Saltburn. If you saw
Yes,
how
yes,
they got
okay.
one spikily
Yeah,
funny
sure,
character in the
sure.
movie.
Okay, you might have sold this to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, again, I would follow Jacob basically everywhere. And by the way,
You
still
and
an
me
Oscar
both. You and me both, honey.
still an Oscar nominee right now for Frankenstein.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Now, Chad forgot about Frankenstein.
Right.
That quickly.
no, with his crazy performance. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just not a movie I really think about because
Yeah.
I don't find Frankenstein interesting.
I mean.
Did you know he's a monster, but it has something to do with being human? Moving on.
Right. Welcome to our lives every day right now, anyway.
Yeah,
so.
no kidding. Oh, we're monstrous? You don't say.
Yeah, you don't say.
Read a
I mean,
book.
I just love that things are happening and things keep popping up with the climate we're in now. Nobody cares. Like, Obama admitting the UFOs are real, and everybody's like, we don't care anymore.
No, right. I have to go back to sleep. I can't
Can you
start on that.
imagine in the 90s as a kid, a former president admitting that there are UFOs and it not shutting everything down, and now we could care less.
Right. No, it's like recently when those photos of Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry dating popped up, and we just said, don't mess with me
We're
right now.
literally like, not now.
Yeah. I don't want to see it.
We're just saying, not now. We don't have time for this.
Enjoy Canada.
Yeah,
Do we even
exactly.
still have that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Good for you.
Yeah. I am happy that Wuthering Heights is just an adaptation of an old book that is like doing well at the box office.
Yeah. Sure.
I also want to say, by the way, that I've heard people compare Emerald Fennell to Baz Luhrmann, and that Baz Luhrmann sort of, shall we say, overcompensates for lack of content with stylish, choices. No, I would say Emerald Fennell is a lot more like Ryan Murphy, where it's just,
Ooh.
here comes a lurid log line,
Ooh.
and then we'll see if I can live up to it. Enjoy. The first 10 minutes will be crazy. Yeah.
And now I'm no longer watching. I just want you to know that. So we have gone to the depths here and back, and now I'm back on the fence.
I do want to say, Emerald Fennell appreciates old movies, and I don't feel like that's always the case with like lots of new directors this way. And my last Wuthering Heights pimping will be, I watched the 1939 one recently, which has Laurence Olivier and Merle Oberon as Kathy. If you want to laugh the fuck out loud,
Really?
watch
It's
the
a
death
rewatch.
scene in this movie where Merle Oberon, who is not a subtle actress nor a good one, is dying, and she asks to be taken to the window by Heathcliff, and he drags her, and she gives a monologue where I guess before you die, you start making clownish googly eyes because she's like this.
Oh God.
You won't. You won't believe it. It's
Oh my
like,
gosh.
It's
Now
like,
I have to watch it.
It's like miming. she's like Marcel Marceau, and then dies in his arm limply, like just falls.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever died like that in history.
The dramatics.
Yeah. And also Laurence Olivier in that movie, obviously very handsome, very brooding. I don't think became truly an exceptional actor until the 70s. If you guys have not seen the movie Sleuth, it is him and Michael Caine. It is a puzzle caper. They both were nominated for Best Actor. That almost never happens. So worth watching. So check that out too. Based on a play by the great Anthony
a
Schaffer.
full list.
Yeah. Oh no. I live in the past. Unfortunately.
I love all of the facts that you bring with these films.
I arguably bring nothing else to life. I have my facts I learned on Wikipedia and no other input.
It's like me with pop culture. Like, I'm like, you want to know what Britney Spears was doing in the year 2008? I can tell you.
Right. Yes. Still with the snakes around her neck.
Yes, absolutely.
Just in a car she stole. Yeah. Anyway, what did you think of Wuthering Heights? If you thought about it at all, which is dangerous. We'll be right back with more Keep It. We'll be right back, but first, it's time to warm up for the midterms with sweatshirts from the Crooked Store. There's styles for everyone. Crew necks, hoodies, zip-ups, and all-black options for people who spill coffee on everything they wear. If you're looking for your election year emotional support sweatshirt, I particularly love the Call Congress crew neck, the America While Supplies Last zip-up, and the classic Crooked logo hoodie. Stop huddling around your overheating phone for warmth and pick up some cozy merch to help you get through the year. Head to crooked.com/store to shop sweatshirts. When we're back, it's more Keep It. This podcast is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace gives you everything you need to offer services and get paid, all in one place. From consultations to events and experiences, showcase your offerings with a customizable website designed to attract clients and grow your business. Get paid on time with professional on-brand invoices and online payments. Plus, streamline your workflow with built-in appointment scheduling and email marketing tools. With Squarespace's collection of cutting-edge design tools, anyone can build a bespoke online presence that perfectly fits their brand or business. Start with Blueprint AI, Squarespace's AI-enhanced website builder, to get a fully custom website in just a few steps, using basic information about your industry, goals, and personality to generate premium quality content and personalized design recommendations. Squarespace also offers a complete library of professionally designed and award-winning website templates with options for every use and category. No matter where you start, your website is flexible to what you need. With intuitive drag and drop editing, beautiful styling options, unrivaled visual design effects, on-brand AI content, and more ways to list what you offer. No experience required. Fundraise directly on your website and grow your impact with built-in donation tools. Create a professional on-brand website that makes it easy to accept one-time or recurring contributions and engage supporters. With built-in email campaigns and marketing tools, you can connect with your community and inspire more people to support your cause. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/keepit to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/keepit. Keep It is brought to you by OLIPOP. OLIPOP is a new kind of soda that combines the classic soda taste with the benefits of a functional ingredient blend to support digestive health. OLIPOP is reimagining soda with high fiber and low sugar. Allow me to take a sip. Root beer, yes. I gave up soda after college. I used to be obsessed with it. I used to buy it all the time. Having an OLIPOP now gives me the taste of all the sodas I used to love, except, very few of the calories. In fact, it's actually good for gut health because of its prebiotic component, so I can't recommend it enough. 2 out of 3 Americans say they suffer from digestive issues, and 95% of Americans don't get the daily recommended amount of fiber. OLIPOP is tackling both of those issues with a drink that tastes just like soda. Now you can get a free can of OLIPOP, buy any 2 cans of OLIPOP in-store, and we'll pay you back for 1. Works on any flavor, any retailer. Go to drinkolipop.com/trips. That's drinkolipop.com/trips. OLIPOP is sold online at drinkolipop.com and Amazon, and available in the soda aisle with the chilled beverages at thousands of retailers nationwide, including Walmart, Target, Costco, and Whole Foods. Hold on to your fucking shit. This week, Netflix debuted Reality Check, Inside America's Next Top Model, in which everyone from Tyra Banks to the executive producer and the network exec gathered to wonder who was responsible for the many insane and toxic things, I'll call them war crimes, we saw play out on the iconic 2000s reality competition series. Nina, where to begin?
Ooh, child. First, I have to say, I'm very surprised Tyra sat down for this.
I don't get it. I mean, like, the degree of Tyra, can you explain this sexual assault?
Yeah.
Tyra, can you explain treating this person like garbage?
Right.
And she just has to sit there and give, I'm going to call it pageant face.
She definitely gave there was one moment when they were asking her about Jay Manuel.
Yeah.
And it's obvious they don't speak. And when they asked about him, she goes, he's a lovely man. And I was like, oh, this is actually what makes her the craziest to me. Like, her response was, it like something went over her face and she smiled and she goes, I said, oh, this bitch is crazy.
Yeah, she was lost in the smiles.
It was more than anything else. I was like, this is weird. It's weird also because she still clearly has the media training from like the early 2000s that no longer works in this day and age, because we all have phones and minds, and people have platforms where before you didn't have a platform, so everything had to be talked through PR. Now it's just so transparent. These girls can get on their phones, and it's just like she hasn't caught up to that. I do think she's stunted in like the early 2000s and hasn't evolved out of that, because when you're watching her and Ken Mock, who were the executive producers and creators of the show, are talking about it in third person like they weren't there making the decisions. So if me and you had a show 10 years ago and we did some shit and now people are asking us, and I would just be like, well, production. No, your production. You were the executive producer, and I know some people are executive producers in name, but then she goes into detail about how she was sitting in the edit bays and now she knows how to edit. So you're telling us that you were part of this, but then at the same time, you're just kind of like, well, it was just the times, and then blames the viewer and tells us, well, y'all was watching it, and it's like, lady, I was 13. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm doing this in between homework sessions, and you blaming me? Like, it is a part of, I understand it was being consumed at the time, but I just felt like I walked away. Her and Ken Mock had absolutely no account. The accountability was in the negative.
Yeah.
It was hard to watch. I mean, there were sexual assaults. There were women who were saying that they had to alter parts of their body against their will. Like, this goes really deep, and it deserves way more than well, it was just a sign of the times. That's not going to get it.
Well, also, what's very weird is when this documentary starts, and it's a 3-part series. It's all on Netflix right now. Tyra begins by saying there was this reckoning in 2020 during the pandemic when people started discovering ANTM again and were stuck at home just watching it all day. And she said in that moment, people were criticizing the show and how exploitative it was of the women on it and stuff. And she goes, and I'm so glad they did that because that's how I learn. Because so she begins sort of establishing, I understand the show is like dicey in retrospect, but she doesn't because she doesn't own up to it in any way. But I have to say, a theatrical thrill of watching this is the crazy newswoman posturing that Tyra Banks has while doing anything, while hosting the show, while like sitting here answering questions. She reminds me of, and this is a Robert Duvall reference, Faye Dunaway in Network. She's like, and it's literally the same story as what happens in that movie, which is we have the Last Place network. We've got to make this thing sing. How are we going to do it? We're going to, raise the stakes, make it crazier, make it weirder, make it uncomfortable. And that's how it became a sensation. I mean, because by the way, how many actual reality shows run that many seasons?
Right.
Let alone something like that started off so cheap and needed to,
and evolved into this like powerhouse. And I will say it was a huge cultural phenomenon. I remember going home and watching it and said, like, I didn't have TiVo, I didn't have any of that. I remember watching this in real time. And I will say there was a pivotal moment on that show that actually affected me as a young woman, that stuck with me, that probably was instrumental in a decision I made as an adult. And it was the Danny situation about the Gap. So I had a Gap my whole life.
Me too as a kid.
And and I really struggled with it because I got bullied about it a lot. But my mom had one, my grandfather had one. So I would have a year where I loved it, a year where I didn't. And I'll never forget watching her show and her berate Danny about that Gap. And as a young woman watching the show, I cried. I saw this Black woman that I admired talking about how no one would want this girl with a Gap. And it really messed me up. Like, as a young woman, it really messed me up. Regardless, if I see, Tyra was on magazines in my house. So I'm seeing someone that I revere and a beauty icon telling me something about myself is unattractive and unmarketable. It did damage to me because I didn't have a ton of Black icons that I looked up to at the time, And I think like it stayed in the back of my head. And then when I got on TV and people would troll me, that was the first thing they would say. And ultimately I made the decision to close it, and I'm not putting that responsibility on her, but I will say those things that they did went past just being on TV, especially for young Black women. It was impactful in the households where Tyra was one of the few examples of Black women who were successful on TV. And a lot of it was damaging to watch in real time. So when people say, well, no one was criticizing it back then, I think that was probably the first moment I thought, I don't feel good about watching this show. There wasn't social media to get on back then to criticize. So when people say it wasn't being critical, they were conversations about the show being damaging. It just wasn't going online because the platforms didn't exist.
Right. Yeah, this is pre-Twitter, et cetera. Sure. Tyra talks about going into chat rooms to discover what people were saying about this show, but you're right. We hadn't reached peak social media yet. There are some notable alumni. Eva Pigford, great ANTM contestant. Niall DeMarco also came from the show. And by the way, a fabulous talking head on this documentary is Ebony from season 1.
Oh, she was great.
And who was fabulous on the show.
Can we just also talk about how none of the Black women have aged at all?
I do have to say, like Danielle on the show, I'm like, go ahead and compete again.
I was like, y'all could get back on that runway today.
Yeah.
Like, they looked incredible. Ebony, I was like, they were talking about Ebony's skin, and I was just like, I haven't seen more beautiful skin when she was saying that they were criticizing her about it. I want a second run for all of them to like get what is theirs.
Oh, yeah. And Ebony talks about having been an out lesbian on the show. In addition to being, a Black contestant on a show that didn't know how to deal with Black contestants. So I think this documentary properly gives her flowers. And by the way, everything she has to say is so fabulous, too.
I have to say, I thought this documentary was very well done.
Yeah.
I thought it was very well done.
Oh, imagine turning it off. I watched all three parts in quick succession. Yeah.
And I rarely don't watch and not pick up my phone. My phone was sitting down.
Yeah, no.
I paused a few times to post on Threads about it. But other than that, and it is getting visceral reactions from everybody. So if you want something, if you just need to rage, watch this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you're ready to feel, get ready.
Yes, exactly.
Danielle, by the way, who is a winner of America's Next Top Model, is one of the highlights
she
of
was
the
phenomenal.
show. Oh, my God. Her delivering this story and remembering everything with such clarity.
Yes.
I imagine it's a total blitz filming this show. I'm really in awe of the models or former models they had on the show talking about their experience on the show. I also think she's right about Tyra when she says that when Tyra began the show, in the first, like the initial moment creating the show, she probably had good intentions.
I agree.
And thought to herself, I'm the one of the few black supermodels, so I can run this show and, for instance, have half the cast be people of color. Which was like pretty radical at the time. I always say about Project Runway too. Imagine having 9 gay guys on a show. These were all brand new things at the time. But then it immediately morphed after the ratings hit.
It did.
Into all these damaging things.
Yeah, it took, and this is what I will say. As being a person who's created things for TV, been in TV for a long time, these networks do come in and try to change the trajectory of the show and tell you things you need to do that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
We know they come in with these notes, the network notes, and they change things and they shift the purpose of the show because they want the numbers.
Yeah.
And I understand that kind of getting away from her. But it still doesn't explain to me like certain pivotal things about her relationships, right? So I had no idea Miss J had a stroke in 2022.
Right. Tyra
has not visited this person that was such a pivotal part of her life for so many years. And in the documentary, they're like, has Tyra come to see you, visit you? And he's like, no. She says she texted me last week. And it's interesting that she would have texted him last week in the documentary because she knew he was doing this documentary.
Right.
Everything just feels very calculated. It feels like we lost who Tyra was, and she is like kind of a cog in the machine now.
Yeah.
And she moves that way in her personal life, on TV. Everything is a soundbite or a motive. None of it feels authentic. And it's really hard for me I think a lot of people would do well with just like an authentic conversation and apology. We've yet to really get that from her.
No. And also, again, I don't think anything is really preventing her from saying so much of the show is awful in retrospect.
Yeah.
Like you're right. Like the accountability isn't there, even though she's sort of gingerly approaching it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, they just kept saying it was a sign of the times, and they're not wrong. The early 2000s were crazy.
Oh no! Every time I watch a music video from that time, it's like you're watching some young woman look terrible.
Sure.
And like being propped up and being sexed out in such a
Yeah.
crazy, I'll call it maximalist way.
Right.
It's just unsubtle.
But even I will say I felt trauma watching this because as a viewer I was fully invested in the second season when Shandy was on the show in the second cycle.
Yeah.
And we all thought she cheated on her boyfriend.
Oh yes, and by the way, I did not realize watching this that like it was sold to the viewer as she cheated as opposed to she was assaulted and doesn't remember it.
1,000%. She was not only sexually assaulted, but also like they witnessed it and did not step in.
Right.
And even now, Ken Mock is like, well, we filmed it like a documentary, so we just don't step in. That is not okay. And it's not a good enough. That's not good enough. That's not a good enough excuse. And then to hear that she was slut shamed in the streets and by people for basically like years. This poor woman is just still beaten up. She can't talk about it without crying. And then I feel as a sense of watching the show for a decade, we thought this girl had cheated on her boyfriend and find out we witnessed this sexual assault and there's still no accountability about that. I'm going to be honest. I was pretty livid watching that.
Oh yeah. I mean like the amount of like former contestants on the show who are interviewed here. And by the way, it's actually telling who doesn't even participate.
Right.
There's like not a
Tiffany was like, baby, find me later.
No, right.
She did not even come back for this. I have heard though that there is going to be another documentary that comes out in March. I don't think it's with the same production company. It's a different company that's doing it that will be talking to other cast members that were not featured in this one.
Oh, okay.
So,
How very American Gladiator.
Right, exactly.
We got two different series. One had all the contestants, one didn't.
There's a lot of content to cover.
Yeah, tons of people. The amount of models on this show who are still clearly extremely upset by what happened on the show.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I've ran into a couple of these women just being in the industry, and I won't say her name because I don't know if she wants me to tell her story, but we were at an award show and we just happened to be standing next to each other, and I was just telling her she had done something that I really enjoyed, and I was talking to her about it, and Tyra was also at the event, and so I said, oh, Tyra's here, and she was like, Like there was no love between how she felt about like, even now, years later, I mean, it has been over a decade since this woman had been on the show and she's had a very successful career. She still was like, like she was not feeling Tyra being there. She wasn't feeling being around her. So there's a lot of unresolved issues. And I'm always of this the thing of like when they forgive you, I'll forgive you. I
Yeah,
say that
yeah.
about Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake. When Janet finally forgives Justin, so will I.
Right.
And that's how I kind of feel about
Well,
it.
by the way, we mentioned Jay Manuel earlier. The series gets into how he eventually wants to quit the show around
Right.
cycle 8, 9.
Yeah.
And he writes this long, heartfelt email to her, and you know he's there from the beginning. They had a
Right.
great rapport once upon a time, and she just responds with "I am disappointed" and says nothing else. And then when they're on set, he's still they kind of cajole him to staying another year, and eventually he stays with the show in a different capacity for a few seasons, but then he's sort of just cut off too.
Yeah.
And like when they ask her like, do you want to talk about Jay Manuel? And she won't. It's like,
It's
Tyra, did you just
weird.
expect him to stay with the show? Like, you're making 10 times the money he
Right,
is.
right.
Why are you feeling betrayed by
And
this?
it's just such a weird, there was like a clear power dynamic.
Yeah.
I mean, even the fact that she commented on, you know, the Jays getting more recognized than her when they were in New York. She was joking, but you could tell she was serious. Like it affected her ego.
Yeah.
That like when they were together and they got, you know, recognized and she didn't, it was, you know, it was just very strange.
And also, clearly that's anomalous. You're one of
Yeah.
the most famous women in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say, I think a lot of people, because they're seeing the state, that there's clearly been a lot of evolving with Nigel, Miss J, and Mr. J, but I don't want to erase the fact that they were complicit in a lot of this too, because I
Yes.
think a lot of people are feeling sorry for Miss J right now because of his current medical state, and I do think that is something that is sad and we should have compassion for. But at the same time, if you watch back these clips, they were all pretty awful to these women in the comments and the fat shaming. And I just think, you know, when I watch shows like this and they're talking about women's bodies, and I'm like, what do you think 90% of your audience looks like?
Yeah.
Who do you think's watching the show? It's kind of crazy. I mean, they were calling a size 6 fat. Like the amount of things that this did to young women's brains who watch this show. I mean, I can tell you how it affected me with size and my gap, right? So
Right.
I can't imagine like everybody, all the other women this affected, like they're just how they felt about themselves. And I just think like there's a lot of atoning that needs to happen. And right now I just feels like everybody's passing the buck.
Right. Also, by the way, I have to say, it almost would have been smarter for certain people not to have taken part in this documentary because, by the way, I would say Janice Dickinson almost skates by scot-free in this.
Yeah.
They like
Totally.
they show a couple of sound bites of her,
Sure.
but she's not in the documentary.
Right.
So I don't know that they want to just get into what she brings to it. But I mean, some of the most scathing and ridiculous comments
Sure.
I've ever seen
Agreed.
on, excuse me, a television.
Yeah.
All together. And
Yeah.
actually, I'm going to include the internet.
Yeah, I mean, just Janice was, and you know, at the time we all thought she was shocking. She came across almost like Howard Stern, like the shock
Yeah.
jock, you know, and it was criticized at the time. But you know, as the time has gone on, it's like Tyra has become a bigger villain than Janice, which is crazy because back then she was seen as the calm one. But then, you know, when you hear these things about like how Shandy went to Tyra's talk show, and
Oh, my
even
God.
then, you know, she asked Tyra not to play something. Tyra played it. Like, Tyra is lost in the sauce and has been for many, many years. And I don't want to take away from what she has contributed to the world. Of you know, I want people to know that two things can exist.
Yeah, right. No, that was very shocking to see. First of all, Tyra's talk show has been kind of lost to time.
Yeah.
And that was one of those kind of like Meghan McCain on The View like situations where every week you would hear something utterly bizarre had occurred.
Yeah.
But you would have to see it, you
Yes.
know, in that kind of creepy, must-see TV way that feels now very, very retro.
And I think people forget how huge Tyra was back then because I think time has passed and things have changed so fast. But Tyra was everywhere. Let's not forget she was acting. You know,
yeah.
she was in several movies.
Life
Remember
size? Oh, yes.
Coyote Ugly, Higher Learning,
Yeah.
Love and Basketball. She was in movies. She was, you know, on magazines. She had the show. Like, she was huge. Like, Beyonce went on the Tyra Banks show. Like,
Right.
this is...
Oh, I remember that
Everybody
interview.
went on that. And that was...
Speaking of Faye Dunaway and Network, who put that line of questioning together? Where she says, here's a bunch of questions. She rhymes with the word Beyonce
True.
with other things and then turns that into a question. This isn't one of the questions, but she's just like, you know, Fleance. Have you been to a flea market?
And, you know, and not for nothing, Tyra is a cornball.
Yes, I
She's
guess.
corny. And that's not a bad everything. So but it's just like.
And actually, that's probably some of the best parts of America's Next Top
Right.
Models, like
She's
her corny
kinda
little
corny.
acting moments. Yeah,
like
yeah.
she kind of awkward and corny.
Yeah.
And so she really to have her snap into this other person. I don't know which version of her I prefer.
Yeah.
Neither probably, but it's
Also,
very shocking to watch.
Okay, now Project Runway and American Idol, etc., all have a couple of winners who actually vaulted
Yes.
ahead in their industries. I don't think America's Next Top Model really ever had one person
Winnie
pop
Harlow.
off properly. Yeah, Winnie Harlow is as close as it gets.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
would say Winnie. Yaya is, I feel like, very active.
And she acted a couple of times.
Yeah. She's fully has a really good career, and then I think like Adrian for a little while back then because she married one of the Brady Bunch guys.
Oh, I watched My Fair Brady.
I did
Are you
too,
talking about
Joe.
Joliet, Illinois' Adrian Curry?
Yes, that's the one.
Because I watched her on The Surreal
That's the
Life and I
one.
watched her on My Fair Brady.
Yeah.
When I moved out here, my first boss goes, "You know who you sound like? Adrian Curry."
Wow.
And I realized she's from the suburb next to me. Yeah. I was like, damn.
Yeah,
Well done.
I mean, I bet we're forgetting somebody who was big, but those are who stand out to me. So it's almost, and they mentioned this in the film that like it kind of was, if the show was to make this next big supermodel, the show was kind of a failure.
Yeah.
You know what was the most shocking to me after all of this? Tyra promotes the next season, the next cycle.
Oh, no. Just being like, it's time for that, obviously.
I thought I heard Michael
Meanwhile-
Myers
No, it's
behind
like,
her.
it's time for the Nuremberg trials. What are you talking about? It's not time for more of this.
Girl, who is watching this? Are
Yeah.
you crazy doing a plug right now?
No.
We just talked about sexual assault and all these things, and you plug in the next and wait for cycle 25. Girl, get out my face.
And also with the same glassy stare, like
Yes.
more to come, like full, Sunset Boulevard, like yes,
I'm
cycle
like,
25.
I don't even think my conscience would let me watch the next. I don't care what cycle. It could be cycle 100.
Yeah.
I am not tuning in because I don't know what this was to promote, especially if the same people are being involved in this next cycle. Keep it.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
I was gonna say, you know exactly where you are. I mean, I will say to wrap this conversation up. I think something that America's Next Top Model benefited from was never being prestige for a second.
Right.
Like a show like Project Runway had to figure out how to stay good and keep integrity. And even though like the network changed or whatever, like they were trying to keep like the integrity and the careerist nature of the show valid, whereas this show was like not even close to Emmy consideration, so they were just like,
Right.
whatever, make the girl like jump through a hoop that's on fire.
It's like, let's have the girls switch races.
Oh,
and ethnicities.
we haven't even touched on that.
Like, let's put them in a big bowl of salad. Like, what is happening here?
Excuse me, they had the girls switch races for one photo shoot, and there's some sort of reckoning at the time of how bizarre that is, and then they do it again 8 cycles later or something.
Later.
They're like, we not only have we not learned, it's a classic.
And then brought in the ethnicities of the children and had them pose with the kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we bringing babies into this? This is outrageous. This is I don't know when I clocked out of watching this show, but it was really one culturally for the pop culture wise, it's one of the most ridiculous things that has ever happened.
Oh yeah, no, I have to laugh though. Somebody, one of the commentators on the show said, "Oh, I finally, I stopped watching. It got really desperate near the end." Excuse me,
Near
it
the
was
end?
never not desperate. It began on desperation.
Near the end.
It's
These-
the desperate housewife
It is
Tyra Banks.
And the poor girls were all basically like, I went back to Walgreens.
Yeah.
I went and the one thing I will say is probably the realest is how cold this industry is.
Yeah,
Because if anybody is thinking about getting into entertainment, and watch this, because it's very real about how Hollywood is hot and cold, and it will cut your head off and not wait for your body to drop. Like, Hollywood is cold.
Yeah.
And I really want people to know the show business does not love you. And so if this is something you're interested in, that show is a perfect example of how this industry can break your heart.
It epitomizes it.
Yes, it
That's
does.
kind of the most classic thing about this is like
does.
what happens to the contestants on this show is an age-old story.
It's
but
so
it still
true.
feels so vicious watching it.
It is cutthroat. But I've had stuff like that happen to me in this industry, and I've seen people come and go. I'm sure you have too, where it's like they're like, I'm done. And there are some people who are just like, I have no desire to come back into that world. And some people who just, they keep going, and you deal with the trauma. And I think,
Or you don't.
or you don't, Tyra. No.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think rightfully so. I do think this is a rightful dragging of her.
Mhm.
And, you know, the end where she's kind of blaming everybody and saying, like, I'll take my dragging, but you be prepared to take yours because my moments were filmed. And it's like, she's still diverting. Like, we are talking about you.
And you ran the show. It was
Like-
your idea. You keep taking charge of
Right.
this idea. Keep saying it was your idea.
Right.
You know.
It's either was all you or it wasn't. You can't, you know. And I will say, like, I do think the networks are the biggest villains here. I'm being honest.
Sure. No, because we didn't ever hear from their higher ups.
No, of
you know?
course not. No, because they're about to do this another cycle.
Right. The only higher up we really hear from is UPN head Dawn Ostroff, who was
Right.
there at the beginning.
Sure.
But even she, I don't feel like, is answering the big questions here.
No, they're all just kind of acting like it was someone else. It just, again, passing the buck. Like, oh, it was the producers, it was the editors, it was the higher ups. It's like, who's making these decisions?
Right. One of the higher ups we did not hear about in this show, co-creator of America's Next Top Model, Kenya Barris.
I had no idea about this.
He's not grownish at all. He made the show.
He's not getting any flack for this.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm like, it's interesting no one's mentioned his name in all of this. I had no
He's
idea.
extremely famous and extremely successful.
Yes, and he's pretty much skated by without anybody posing any type of criticism to him. I had no idea. He has done a really good job of bearing that, but now we know.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I have hopes for that other documentary coming out.
Yeah, I'm interested to see who's going to be attached and who's producing it because that matters a lot.
Yes.
If it stays like this where it feels more in the middle, I'm really inclined to watch. I'd probably watch any documentary on this right now.
I guess I would too.
Yeah.
I want to establish, when you're watching this documentary, at first, you almost think Tyra's producing it. And
Right.
then as it goes on, you realize, oh, wait, she has no control.
Sure.
So, I mean, just enjoy the theatrical thrills of that.
It's in just watching her, it's really a masterclass in like denial.
Yeah, right.
They mentioned Les Moonves though, which I thought was interesting.
Yes. Oh, no. And of course, he's one of the scariest people ever to live.
Yes.
We were just talking about Big Brother before the
Right.
camera started rolling. And God, what a disease that continues to be that I have.
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen, and I worked at CBS,
Oh, gosh. The price is wrong.
and I was definitely told I was too black.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yes.
I mean,
But that checks.
yeah.
With because I don't know if it was a note from him, but it was definitely a note from someone in that sphere.
Sounds like less to me. Less is more, shall we say.
Right, clearly. So
Oh, my God.
when they brought him on, I was like, I'm getting PTSD all through this thing.
Oh, my God. Okay. Before we get even more PTSD, we'll wrap this up, and we'll be back with more Keep It after this. Keep It is brought to you by COYUCHI. I'm excited to tell you about our sponsor, COYUCHI. COYUCHI is in a league of its own when it comes to bedding, bath, and home products, and their organic sateen and flannel sheet sets are the key to more comfortable, healthier sleep year-round. I care a lot about my diet, my skincare routine, but only recently have I thought about how important what I sleep on is to my health and wellness. Recently, I went to bed on a set of silk sheets, and I woke up not just sweating. It was like a Niagara-level sweat explosion. I don't know what happened. I can't honestly say what went wrong. But honestly, when I sleep on COYUCHI sheets, which are so pleasing to the skin and so light, I know I'm getting the maximum amount of sleep and the best sleep possible. All COYUCHI sheets are made of natural fibers and certified to be free of toxins and harmful chemicals that could seep into your skin, and they're so soft and gentle on your skin. You can sleep well and safely with COYUCHI, whether it's the subtle sheen of their sateen or the velvety brushed cotton flannel. Plus, vintage patterns, peaceful botanicals, and calming hues bring the natural world right into your home. And with every wash, these sheets just get softer and softer. No pilling or tearing. These are crafted to last. If you want healthy, organic luxury bedding that lasts a lifetime, you need COYUCHI. Get 15% off your first order when you visit koyuchi.com/keepit. That's koyuchi.com/keepit to get 15% off. koyuchi.com/keepit. Keep It is brought to you by Rocket Money. I, as you know, am not a financial guru. I am blown away by people who know how to make money. Where did they get that idea? They go to a specific school I didn't go to? I'm confused. Frankly, before Rocket Money, I was spending a lot of time managing my finances. That is to say, thinking about them, worrying about them. And afterwards, now I have lots of extra time. And guess where I spend it? The cinema, where you should be too. Bring your friends. We need butts and seats. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money makes a lot of my life automatic. First of all, it puts right in front of me how much I'm spending on things like groceries and bills and Oscar-nominated films. It really adds up after a while. And also very convenient when you open Rocket Money, you can see all of your accounts in one place. It's so pleasing. It's so organized. It's so, shall we say, not like me. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/keepitpod. That's rocketmoney.com/keepitpod. rocketmoney.com/keepitpod. And we're back with, the spiciest part of the episode. It's Keep It. Nina, what have you been thinking about?
I've been thinking about how I love to hate Love is Blind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've only saw the first season of Love is Blind.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I wish that was my case. It's something that I will no longer, I can't watch the show anymore.
It sounds like you're going to watch it.
I am.
Okay.
I hate that I love it, even though now it's just hate watching. There is a man on there who is clearly a biracial black man.
Okay.
His name is Devontae.
Okay, right. I'm there.
And he gets engaged to a Afro-Latina woman, and he clearly only wants to be with white women. So he's, not into this woman, and he's basically saying he's never dated a person of color before. And I really need this man to look in the mirror. I can't watch this. I cannot contribute to the mediocre men that they cast, and they all seem to have the same haircut.
Yeah, interesting.
It's always the same look from these guys, It just, it's actually a really good reflection of real life where you have these amazing women who are getting attached to these men who are incredibly mediocre. And I don't want to watch anymore, but they suck me back in, and I need it to stop. I need to just cut it off.
Well, in this episode where we are reckoning with the sins of producers on these TV shows, I cannot figure out what the fuck these people are doing signing up for these shows. I don't get, again,
it's gotta
Big
be
Brother. I'm not saying that that's it's not a terribly prestigious show, but you win a lot of money on that show. It's about money.
At least there's money.
Yeah.
But these men who go on Love is Blind, it's like a dating app. They come on and they say they want, a relationship, and then they say, "Oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this." And it's like, do you know what this show is about?
Right.
Do y'all know it's supposed to end in marriage?
But I mean, literally, are producers finding these people at bars, or are people, because they have to scout for these things sometimes, or are they actually just taking applications? Because I cannot imagine taking a pen or going on the internet to sign up for this nonsense.
And I will have to say, this season is set in Ohio. I will never go there.
Oh, excuse me?
I'm sorry, this dating pool.
Ohio?
Baby, listen.
If I had to rank the Midwest states, it would come in fourth.
Right. I am so sorry to anybody listening from Ohio, but these men...
You guys have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I hear Columbus is lovely, and otherwise, stop it.
Yeah, there's just no part of me that ever wants to go anywhere near there after watching the show. I am traumatized.
No,
how dare they? And I'm hearing now that this guy told his ex-girlfriend why he, and I don't know if this is true, this is literally a TikTok story, but there's a girl saying that the ex is posting about how he wasn't into this girl solely based off the fact that she was a woman of color, even though he is the same thing.
Right, yes.
And he's also threatening the ex now by saying if you post our messages, I'll sue you. These are some of the worst people. When we watch every season, there's a story that comes out about, remember this couple of seasons ago, the guy had a secret family.
Right.
And
yes.
he was like, "Oh yeah, the baby was just a donor baby," and a surrogate, and they pathological liars are attracted to this show for whatever reason. It's really crazy. But that's why they keep getting me back.
Right. No.
Part of it is I like to drag them.
No, and also it's you do want a headquarters of crazy. You want to sign up and be like, here, I know 6 things are going to happen that are utterly objectionable.
But it also just makes you feel a little bit better about your dating life.
Yeah, I guess.
Because I'm single, but I am also not on Love is Blind.
Right. Waiting for the validation of somebody, somebody who's potentially ready to reject me.
And by the way, everybody they cast they are the most superficial people you will ever meet.
Oh yeah.
So these are all people who care, they care so much about looks. Why would you go on the show? It makes no sense.
No, I find that they don't have many Nobel laureates on the show. Right. They don't tend to sign up. Linus Pauling's not on the show.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I have to say, this is just such a litmus test for the real world. It is a reflection of what the dating world looks like.
Yeah.
And the dating pool has pee in it. That's what it is.
Tinder is dangerous. I agree. It's a little yellow in that way. I agree.
1,000%.
My keep it this week. I want to say positively, first of all, that the Muppet Show revival that just happened with Sabrina Carpenter as guest star. I was about to say guest host, but she's really a guest star in the show. Perfectly delightful. What do you feel about the Muppets? Period.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
I am a huge Muppets fan.
Oh, really?
Another fun fact, I was actually in the reboot with Lily Singh.
Oh, yes.
And they cut my character.
Oh, get the fuck out.
But I was in
Do
one
you think
episode.
Fozzie made that call? He said, "Waka waka, you're out, bitch."
Oh, I
Yeah.
definitely know it was him or Gonzo that just kind of did me dirty. But it was such a fun day on set. I am a huge Muppet fan since a kid. I used to watch the cartoons, the shows, like everything Muppets. So I am excited for this.
Yeah, I will say I'm not somebody who craves the Muppets coming back.
Mm-hmm.
To me, when the Muppet Show of the 70s, the reason that is so perfect is that not only are the Muppets really popular then, obviously Sesame Street was a phenomenon by that time, but also it's coming off the heels of the variety show phenomenon. Like
Yeah.
the entire 1970s
Yes.
is, variety star, like the Carol Burnettification
Sure.
of television. And so when people would go on the Muppet Show, they would get to act like a variety star, but also kind of make fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just the perfect time and place for all of that. That said, I'm excited for them to be back. It's this one-off show. I feel strange judging the success of this show, this particular episode, because Sabrina Carpenter is one of the few 2026 celebrities who belongs with Muppets. It's like
Yeah.
she's got the it's a
She's
it's a
actually
sexy getup,
perfect.
but it's a pure character.
Yes.
It's like Miss Piggy, and she
Yes.
compares herself to Miss Piggy favorably throughout the episode. My keep it though, and you already said his motherfucking name, is to Gonzo, who comes on the
What'd he do
screen
to you?
hard as hell, and he says he's going to do one of his stunts like Evel Knievel, and he says while he does it, he's going to name every Best Supporting Actress winner in history. Honey, they did not come to me for 1 second to get a packet of material for this show. I was available.
needed you.
I live in West Hollywood. You could have delivered the script to my home.
Oh my
Excuse me.
gosh.
What else am I doing but saying the names of Best Supporting Actresses over and over? How am I not Gonzo?
I love that.
I'm
this is
Gonzo right now.
This is the most riled up I've seen you.
Watch me. I felt like jumping off a ramp and yelling Lupita Nyong'o or whatever Gonzo does in this episode. I can name him forward, backward, sideways. Name a year. Name your favorite year.
My
When-
favorite year.
Yeah.
1998.
1998. You mean when Judi Dench won for her 5-minute performance in Shakespeare in Love? You mean when she beat Brenda Blethyn in Little Voice? Name another year.
97.
97 when Kim Basinger, one of the worst winners in the category, beat Julianne Moore, Minnie Driver, Gloria Stewart, and somebody else I'm forgetting. Anyway, that's most of them.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Look at, this is incredible.
All I do is this. I just said I've never seen my gimmick exploited without me.
How dare they?
How
dare they?
And also, as you can see,
Gonzo.
I have the passion of so many generations of truth in me. And it came out
You are-
watching this on Gonzo, who I thought was an ally with his outfits.
we've talked about deaths today.
Yeah.
And I have not seen you this worked up.
No, right.
The Gonzo, damn it.
Yeah, right. Robert Duvall anger? Nope. Gonzo anger. Yeah. So
damn
upsetting.
nose.
Yeah, right. It begins there.
How
It begins
dare
there.
you.
Oh my God. Who's your favorite Muppet?
Probably Miss Piggy.
I do have to say
I
she
do
is
love
deeply
Janice,
one of a
though.
kind. Oh, the look
Janice,
of Janice.
baby. Janice looks like she just smoked the fattest joint. Okay? And she always chilling. She's like, hey, man. I do love it. I do love a Janice.
I do think Miss Piggy gets the best jokes.
Yes.
And also, whoever is doing her voice now is doing a really good job.
Doing a great job and good at improv.
Yeah.
Animal is my least favorite.
That's too, it's too much.
It's too much. It's like, take a Xanax.
Yeah. My favorite of all time is Guy Smiley, the game show host.
Okay.
Because they just, for some reason, decided to lampoon the sliminess of game show
Yes,
hosts in the 70s
yes.
and 80s. And I'm like, love it. Love sleaze.
Or the two old Republicans.
Statler and Waldorf. Or are they gay?
Ooh, are they?
They're-
That's
I mean,
a good
the vibe is very
question.
Noel Coward and his lover.
I've never heard this take. I
Yeah.
actually love it.
I mean, they're literally just sitting in a balcony all day.
I mean, and they are reading people left and right.
Right. And they're like, they just got back from Sardi's. They're like, oh, Carol Channing would not leave us the fuck alone.
It's so true.
No, love the Muppets. Love that they're back. So pissed at them.
Yes.
And you know what you
You guys
did.
need to make it right.
Yeah, right.
Make it right.
I'm right here. Yeah. Waka waka. I'm here. Nina, thank you so much once again for
Oh
being
my
here. Where
gosh,
can we
thank
find you
you.
in the world if we want to read your musings?
Just go to any platform and put in the Nina Parker, and you'll find me more than likely talking about Love is Blind.
Okay. I also just want to agree with your handle. You are the Nina Parker.
You
So many
know-
people don't own the in their name, but
Well,
you really need it.
I wanted Nina, but Nina Dobrev took it. So
Oh, she's just at Nina?
she's just Nina, which pisses me off.
Wow.
And then this mom of like 5 has Nina Parker. So I could, I've been messaging her for 3 years and she won't respond to me.
Is Nina Dobrev still our reigning pop culture Nina?
Not in my book.
I have to disagree.
I think the fuck not.
No, it's not right.
I think she should give it to me. She should be Nina Dobrev.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fun name. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, she gets to be Nina. I will be the Nina.
Okay.
You know, it's fine.
All right. I hope you enjoyed this utterly angry episode that has riled me and changed my spiritual life. I barely survived it.
I feel better though.
Me too.
I actually feel great.
My skin's a little clearer.
No, listen, I was gonna say your skin is kind of popping.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Snowy, I call it.
Snow caps.
Yeah. We will be back next week with more Keep It. We will see you then.